We don't give much thought to the celestial bodies as an answer to the question of why they're there. We just more or less accept that the universe is constituted with a solar system, and we exist within a solar system, and the solar system exists within a galaxy, and the galaxy exists within a universe. So even if we are interested in science, which we are, we don't really question why it's that way, or that it could have been a different way, that creation could have been different, because we don't think of intentionality as related to how the universe is constructed. We don't think of it as part of a deliberate, intentional manifestation of a divine thought that gave rise to the universe as we perceive it. So, in the same way, we are used to thinking of physical bodies, the sun, the moon, the planets, more or less as physical bodies, but they're not that. And in relation to the eclipse that's about to happen tomorrow, this is why I'm interrupting the flow of what we normally do. Because it's come to me to tell you that the eclipse is not a physical phenomenon, it's a cosmic metaphor. And that we perceive it as a physical phenomenon because what I just said, we're used to thinking in terms of solid objects in space. And so we think of it as interesting or as exceptional or as wondrous or as frightening, all of that related to the physicality of it. But beloveds, this is not the deeper aspect of why this eclipse is taking place. The deeper aspect has to do with cosmic intentionality, and it exists for all time, not just for our time, not just for the past time, not just for ancient times, but for all time. For as long as the Earth has circulated around the sun in an orbit, we have had a relationship to the light of the sun physically and to the spiritual energy of the sun on a spiritual level. We have always been in relationship with the sun, both ways, physically and spiritually, as a spiritual source. And so what this eclipse and all eclipses, all solar eclipses, are meant to do is to show us something about the life in the sphere of duality. The relationship between light and darkness as it exists within the sphere of duality is a phenomenon that we tolerate. We accept it as more or less inevitable, light and darkness, whatever terms we think of that. This cosmic metaphor exists as a signpost for all of humanity, for all time, throughout the Earth's entire life cycle as part of this solar system. That when darkness is present, the light will always return. When darkness is present, the light will always return. That is the cosmic metaphor of the eclipse. And throughout time, this has been its intentionality. And of course, human beings have had a lot of emotions and a lot of fear around eclipses because people in the past didn't have a way of knowing what they were exactly, or in terms of understanding their frequency or just what they were about. We know so much more now. But even so, on a meta level, on a cellular level, this eclipse teaches our bodies, not even our minds, but our bodies, that even if darkness is present, it will be something that passes and the light will return. And this cosmic intentionality is what we have lost because we think in terms of objects. We don't think in terms of the universe being organized from the standpoint of love or intentionality as a deliberate organization. I have been wondering in this past week of leading up to this eclipse why my response was so different from that of the mainstream, the mainstream of everybody who wants to go see the eclipse. And it has been very different. I couldn't get involved with it because I couldn't get involved with it on the physical level. I wasn't there. I knew that there was something else I was responding to, but I didn't know what it was. And so I asked myself, why is it that I was not at all interested in the physicality of the eclipse? And this is why. Because another part of me knew that it was a cosmic metaphor, and I was responding to it on that level. And what I feel to convey to you about it is the extraordinary love that's present for this planet, for human beings, but probably for all creatures, because all creatures, human and non-human, respond to the eclipse. They just don't respond in the same way. But all creatures, all plants, all animals, all human beings respond. And so all are given this message that in the presence of darkness, the light will always return. All. And the love that's behind that is incredible. It's incredible that should have intentionally been created when other possible ways of creating physicality of orbits and solar systems and so on, we just think it's inevitable, but this is not inevitable. This is intentional. So the love that created the universe, created the organization of the physical objects of the celestial bodies, solar system and galaxy and universe. And in this time, in this way of relating to the sun that we have as human beings and as creatures, not just human but non-human as well, we have this message for all time. All human beings, everywhere, for all time, that the light will return. So I wanted to share this with you with deep gratitude and an honoring of this moment of our collective humanity. Because in addition to feeling the meaning of this as a cosmic metaphor, we are joined with all people all through all time who are experiencing this as this cosmic metaphor for all of us forever. And I hope that I've conveyed to you that this is an intentional aspect of divine love, not an object moving with another object in space. It's that also, but that's not the main event. The main event is the divine love which created the universe. When you, and if you watch the eclipse tomorrow, maybe some part of your heart can give thanks for what's being given to you and to all beings, so that you will be in direct communion with what's happening. I hope so, and I think that's why I was given this to share with you right now, so that you would take this with you and maybe share it with some other people as well. This beautiful, intentional love that has been given to this planet, so we could remember that the light will return, always. Om Namo Bhagavate, Om Namo Namaha. I bow to the Supreme Being that lives within all. Namaskar.